All right, we'll call to order. The councilman is not able to attend today, so he asked me if I would chair the meeting. So we will get underway. We do have a quorum. And we have presentations. Looks like we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 today. And we'll start out with the Palace Ice Festival. Brian Bulchey, come on up. Brian, we usually give you 3, 4 minutes, but tell us what it's all about.
Good afternoon, everybody. I was asking Aaron a little while ago. I think, Dave, you were here last year when we did this, right? So I think everybody's all the same familiar faces and so on. I just, the leader up in front there, I don't know about him, but yeah.
We don't either.
He's just concentrating. So thank you, everybody. Thanks, Aaron, and thank you guys for allowing us the opportunity. Again, it's going to be structured. It's the 10th annual Palace Ice Festival, January 16th through the 18th over here at the Mitchell Activity Center. And like I said to Aaron, 2 years ago when we had this, it was raining and freezing and stuff, and we had a full-scale blizzard at the rink, and all our judges were flowing in and snow coming, so we went through with it, and it went off without a hitch. So hopefully things don't repeat itself. But anyways, our grant request, $750. It's pretty much in line with what we've done the past couple of years. You guys saw our array, how we've been doing this in the past, which you guys have graciously helped us with, and the support. We're expecting pretty close to the same attendance as last year, what we had. As far as registration, how it's going. The judges, we have them all locked in already. Again, a couple different ones, but they're again from California, Washington State, Minnesota, Arizona. One of them will come out of South Dakota, and so on. And our skaters, Watertown, Sioux Falls, Rapid City, Madison, Mitchell, are some of the respective clubs that we're anticipating. Pier, this year they chose not to hold a U.S. figure skating competition. There's a lot of work that goes into it, a lot of volunteer hours and things, so expecting a good turnout. So what it is, just an overview, our judges. This really gives our skaters an opportunity, this U.S. figure skating. These judges are judges like you see on TV. I mean, it's the nationals, they're just going on now. A couple of these have judged in the Olympics. They really help our kids. They give them a lot of pointers and instructions. Plus, it gives our kids a lot of guidance. And last year, we had kids go down to Wichita, Kansas to watch, and they see these people and gets a good interaction. This year, it's in St. Louis. Went to Columbus, Ohio. So our kids in the competitions, it's a growing affair. So as far as the U.S. figure skating sanctioned ones, there's going to be only 3 in South Dakota this year: Mitchell, Sioux Falls, and Rapid City. So there are other skating competitions, but they're not sanctioned. They're a lower level where they're judges and stuff. So with that, I guess you got our P&L statements from last year. As you can tell, we're not hiding anything. It's all there. Our estimated expense income report for this year. As you can tell how important the grant is for us, and we really appreciate it. And like I said, any of the proceeds we put right back into the club, into the kids, into coaching, and so on. And we did bring them over here for the Corn Palace too last year, walked them around, the judges, and I just think it's pretty awesome. As I mentioned too, the restaurants and stuff, when we cater stuff in and take them out in the hotels, everybody's just been gracious. So everything just seems to go without a hitch, and it's all the teamwork that goes into it from not only us, it's everybody else. So I guess I'm just going to keep it short and sweet. Most of you guys have seen, you know me. I am the treasurer of the Mitchell Figure Skating Club as an officer. I used to be the secretary. So with that, if you guys got any questions, I would entertain them.
So your request is basically going to be to pay for the judges. That's kind of
it just goes
primarily what
into
it covers.
It goes into overall expenses, Jocko. You got our expense report there.
Yep.
Our judges alone are going to be over $5,000, $5,800 just travel and lodging. And
So you got $5,000 into judges on it.
Yep.
Wow.
Because we got to pay. They're all volunteer. We pay their expenses. So whatever it is, they don't get paid a wage. So we pay their airfare. We pay everything to get them here, their expenses, and they love to do this for the kids. So
Okay.
And you can see our breakdown in there, what it is. So that is our biggest expense is the judging, but it's well worth it for the kids.
Brian, I know you've got, January 16, 18. Give us a little idea of the time frame.
Okay.
Do they compete over 2 days or just one? Or
Well,
one?
we have testing sessions the first day, and then we have a virtual test session that we're going to do as well, where people can supply virtual testing, and judges will do those. And then we have the figure skating competition, and then we're trying to schedule in a clinic as well. So just mainly it's the testing first, and then it's the competition. And then depending on how the competition goes, if we got to carry it over into another day, otherwise we try to work into a clinic with the respective coaches that we have. So kind of overview of what it is. So
Any other questions for Brian?
Thanks for putting it on. Without the sports authority, you about break even?
Yep. And you saw last year's where we did. So if you subtract that out, we was about $1,100 or $900. So last year's P&L statement that you have there. So that's why it is important. And we don't, you saw our historical amounts, what we used to get, and we're just asking for the average amount. So because there's a lot of money to be spread around, and a lot of events that ask for donations to help out with. So we greatly appreciate it.
Anything else for Brian? All right, thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Brian.
Okay, move on to the next, and that is the Hanson Classics, the girls and the boys. Tyler Pyer. Tyler.
First off, thanks again for having me up here today. I just printed off. So I was telling Aaron before I got here, last year being my first year and just kind of thrown in the mix of stuff, we're ahead of schedule today. So I don't have all of our artwork back and stuff, but what I did is I did print off just kind of the schedules from last year, the programs, and then on the front cover there is one's the boys, one's the girls, what teams will be attending this year, and then some of the artwork we've gotten back so far. But that'll give you a good idea of kind of where your guys' logo, your stuff will go on the program. And the ladies at Hard Drive Central do a great job for us. They kind of make it look fancy and make it look nice and not so jumbled up. But that's kind of, it'll look similar, obviously, but with our new artwork this year. So, as you know, big thing with the grant that we have received in the past from you guys is crucial, to say the least. Last year, our committee at Hanson kind of got together, and from our profit loss statement there, you can kind of see, like, last year was the first year that we really kind of just got by. And to be honest, I didn't even know what was good and what was bad, being the first year. But after we got our business manager there and stuff, that was kind of the closest one to the break-even point, which, again, the Hanson Classic isn't ran to make money. As you guys know, our job is to put together some of the best basketball games in the state, and I would like to think that we have done that. And that's our biggest goal, and not only be able to do that, but to supply enough workers, pay our officials, everything, provide food, everything that makes the Hanson Classic what it is, and something that we at Hanson are very proud of. And we know, too, and how important it is, with the town of Mitchell. We love the Corn Palace, even growing up, in Armour, how it was just a privilege playing there. And I know, like, with the economic impact of bringing, 16 different teams in for 2 consecutive weekends this year. January 17th is the girls and the 24th is the boys. We love coming to Mitchell. We love the Corn Palace, everything that it represents. It's kind of been a hand-in-hand of agreement that, for the Hanson Classics and how special it is, and 2 special weekends of really good South Dakota basketball. So, with that, as you can see, we kind of see our profit loss there. The teams this year, I know one is just kind of looking at our teams. I would say a lot of them will be looking at staying this year. Like last year, weather was a factor, if I remember, for the boys, and a lot of teams would stay. I'm hoping, weather isn't a factor, because it's a nightmare to reschedule. I helped Mr. Bridge the one year that we had to reschedule, and lucky enough, we ended up getting all the games rescheduled, but, it's just not the same. So, already today we're looking at whether we're going down to Armour, and we're trying to make it. So we just pray that weather holds off, and because it's 2 fun weekends. It's a lot of work. But the challenges too is we got to try to pay officials, and the state has recommended that we do pay mileage for everyone, and we want to keep officials happy, and we supply 2 meals a day. So costs are rising. And as you can see, kind of compared to the last couple of years where we are asking for our grant request, it's just of those rising costs. And like I said, Hanson Classics aren't in it to make money, but we don't want to be losing money either. So again, it is crucial with this grant that you guys have provided with us, and in my short tenure of doing this, how important that is. So I can't thank you guys enough. If you have any questions, I would love to answer anything that you have.
Tyler, I know in the past, originally most of what we gave was used for the hospitality.
Yeah.
Is that still?
I would say even in more hospitality room with our 2 meals that we serve a day, and also with officials, just because like the state has also said we want to try to get official pay up a little bit and pay them driving mileage, not only riding mileage. Because with the Hanson Classic is I just ask individual officials. It's not like I ask one guy and he kind of brings his crew and they kind of figure out carpool. I just ask guys all randomly if they're coming, so they're all driving. So it's nice to be able to give them, hey, you're coming from here, I can give you driving mileage, whether you're coming from here or whatever. But yeah, again, being last year, I'm not really knowing much about the financial aspect of it. It's crazy, to say the least. And the food that we try to supply, decent food for 2 full meals for all the coaches, all the staff that we have. It's a big expense. But yes, to answer your question, Tim, it'd be for both, kind of. Yep.
Do you reach out to the schools?
I reach out to the school. So So how it works, I'm always trying to stay a year ahead. What I try to do is, like, for example, take our Hanson boys, for example, is like they're a senior heavy team. They were good last year. It's like, we always question, hey, if you lose 5 seniors, are you going to be a competitive team? That's the biggest thing, is we're trying to get the most competitive teams there. I'm already reaching out for next year. Yep. So like a good girls basketball teams, if they have really good sophomores, juniors, they might get a year to 2 contract, just depending who they have. So yeah, I'm already looking into 2027 now. So.
Anything else for Tyler?
Appreciate what you do.
No, we appreciate everything that you guys have done for us too. So, okay.
Thank you.
All right, thanks, guys.
Next up, South Dakota Middle School All-State Jazz Band, Joel Van Person. Joel.
Good afternoon, and thank you all for having us again. I am the director of bands here at Mitchell High School, and also I'm representing South Dakota Music Education Association. Thank you. Last year, I know you helped run Middle School All-State Jazz Band with your generous grant. You also helped purchase some black chairs for the Performing Arts Center, and we've already used them for over 5 concerts. They came in kind of at the end of last school year. We've used them for 5 concerts, and they'll be used again this Thursday. So thank you so much for the generous grant that you've given in the past. A little bit about SDMEA and All-State Jazz Band. The South Dakota Music Education Association, it tries to provide enriching experiences for students across the state in different music ensembles. This one would be for the All-State Jazz Band, which is hosted here in Mitchell. The dates are January 30th and 31st. Auditions actually are happening next week. It brings in about 38 to 40 students each year from various schools. It depends. Most all of them will end up staying at least one night, if not 2 nights, in a hotels here in Mitchell. They also come with their parents because they are middle school students, so the parents take them, they're in charge of taking them, and their directors come as well. So we average right around 45 to 50 hotel rooms per year that we use. Hotel blocks are set up at My Place Comfort Inn and Hampton Inn. We're looking for $1,500 for the grant. You can see that covers basically the clinicians' pay. So we bring in 2 clinicians. We have 2 separate jazz ensembles going at the same time, and the 2 clinicians get paid for the weekend's worth of work. And so that $750 each would cover their pay for the weekend. Attached is the profit loss statement from last year. This year, the expenses have not started rolling in yet since this event happens late January here. Some of the expenses will happen here with judging next week, and then the rest of them with the clinicians, and the food for the clinicians and things will happen next in January. So if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them. We're thinking it will be hopefully nice weather. We haven't had to move the concert before. This is the 10th year or the 9th year that we've actually been hosting it here in Mitchell, and Mitchell has the bid to host it in 2027 as well. So
how many total people do you bring to town?
So for the concert, so it's kind of different. So the day of the event, Friday and Saturday, for students wise, it's probably around 60 to 70 with their directors. But then for the concert, last year's concert attendance was 250. So anywhere from 250 to 350 for the concert. So, and that's Saturday afternoon. They also eat all of their meals I know last year a lot of the directors were taking students to a lot of the restaurants around here in town or quick grabbing a pizza from one of the pizza places. And so.
Anything else for Joel?
Thank you.
Yeah, good.
Thank you so much.
Thank
you. Joel. All right, let's go to the Mitchell Show Choir Classic. Mr. Muskimmons. Oh, Jen and Jen. Okay, here we go.
Yeah, I snuck in here. So I'm going to talk real quick, but I wanted to first start off by saying when you think of over the last 40 years, what are two things Mitchell is really good at? Basketball, right? We're known for basketball. We've always been good at basketball, which is fabulous. We've also been really good at show choir for a really long time. And so it's fun to travel outside of the community and talk to people about that. Our Show Choir Classic event has traditionally been held over State Boys Basketball Weekend because the Corn Palace was open and free and our boys were gone most years attending those events. However, ever since I've gotten involved with some of this, I've always said, oh my gosh, why do we have to choose between going to a basketball event or a show choir event? The two biggest pieces, right? No more. Our event has been moved to February 21st and 22nd for this year. We did not have an event last year. Schedules, just like some of the others, are years in advance on who's all coming to what kind of events. So we're really excited to blow this one out of the water. Not only do we have our pack, but we also have the brand new high school here in Mitchell. So you're up.
Aaron, you can run those pictures anytime. This is what the Show Choir Classic does for our community. That's the 1900 seat Performing Arts Center, standing room only. You can see on the left side of that picture. It truly is standing room. Quick Jack Nicklaus note. This is just an opinion. But one of the things that made him as great as he was, in addition to winning 17 or 18 majors, was how many times he finished second, which was almost the same number. No one's ever done that in history. The Mitchell Show Choir over the last 6 years has attended 29 events and finished first or second at 24 of them. And in each of those years, there's been one national competition that they've attended. So we estimate the attendance at this event at 2,000 people, plus the kids, and there's going to be 600 or 800 kids competing that day. This board has supported us in the past. You got all of our financials. It really, the money goes into the big kitty for us, which it costs more than $100,000 every year to send this group of kids out on the road. They're one of the biggest marketing efforts that our community has. This year we'll be competing in Omaha, Cedar Rapids, Iowa, and Sioux City, and in Indianapolis, Indiana, which is really kind of the heart or the home of show choir in America. So those kids are going to be competitive at each of those shows, and your assistance is appreciated if you can support us again. We're going to bring a lot of people to town to spend a lot of money. We estimate each year that between 50 and 100 rooms are occupied by one or more of the choirs that compete here in Mitchell.
Several from out of state. We do have 2 or 3 South Dakota schools attending, but just because of how we do out in the competition world, people always want to come to our competition, which is in the middle of a season this year. It's fabulous. As we said, you know the dates. We did add a middle school event to it, so now we'll have Friday night will be a middle school event. And if you've ever been to a show choir competition, they don't end before 10 p.m. That's on a good night. So we anticipate, and when we travel to the other competitions, parents are staying that Saturday night, getting up, traveling home. Unfortunately, the schools, just because of budgets, the kids get on the bus and get home at 4 in the morning. Fairly consistently. So our intent is to bring those parents here, give them something to do, and then of course provide them with a great experience while they're in town.
How many rooms do you guys reserve when you travel?
We actually have somebody that is part of the Mitchell Music Boosters. That's her job, is to go out and get blocks of rooms and whatnot. And out of the 82 students that travel, I would say 30 to 40 per competition. And that's per family if you get a couple of them. We do have 2 overnight stays for our kids themselves, and we're so big that we have to stay at a hotel next door. The parents get kicked out, and the kids stay at that hotel.
Just like for other events, Mitchell travels well to support the show choir.
Mm-hmm.
You know the teams that are coming, or you don't?
We know of 4 right now. Sioux Falls, Jefferson, Sioux Falls, not O'Gorman.
Harrisburg, I think.
Roosevelt,
Oh.
Harrisburg, and Scott Catholic from Omaha.
Omaha. Okay.
And how many total teams will there be then, Jim?
Well, in the best of years, we'll have 8 to 10, and I'm not sure if we're going to hit that mark, because just like scheduling a basketball tournament, some of these choirs put their schedules together over a year ago, and we've changed our dates. So it's going to be a growing process, but I've had a kid in this. This is the 5th year now, and the Performing Arts Center in Mitchell is far and away the best venue that I've ever seen in attending 20 or more show choir events. So the event is going to be great, and we're going to build on that number and get back up to 8 or 10 teams.
That was a selling point. We sent out save the dates last February or March saying new school, new event, and that's what we played off of. Is our brand new school is going to be open. People are familiar with the PAC. People are familiar with our judging panels, all of those kinds of things, which has always been great, and so we'll just continue to build. This year is a wrestling duel. I think at the high school there's a wrestling event. Forgive me for exactly which one it is, but on that Friday and Saturday as well. So it'll be a busy day over there at the high school. Hmm? Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Jim.
All right, and final one, Palace City, Baseball Association. Adam and Jordan. Adam Couch, Jordan Winchell.
Hello. Thank you very much for the opportunity to meet with you today. My name is Jordan Widstrom, and this is Adam Kaus. We are 2 of the founding board members for Palace City Baseball Association. Palace City Baseball was launched to revitalize Mitchell's summer baseball program by bringing American Legion Baseball back to Mitchell. Having been accepted as a member of the South Dakota Class A State Baseball Association, our teams will represent Mitchell in Class A season and state tournament play going forward. Our inaugural season will include teams competing at the 13, 14, 16, and 18 and under age levels, and we hope to grow our reach into younger levels in the future. Today, we are very humbly requesting funding assistance for the 2026 season, during which we will host several doubleheader baseball games at Drake Field and Cadwell Park. Based on generally accepted pay rates and our projected schedule of around 36 doubleheaders amongst 4 teams, we will have $10,800 in total umpire costs for the season. As a new association, we are starting with no prior assets. In total, our 2026 budget reflects total expenses around $90,000 for game expenses, coaching wages, baseball equipment, jerseys, concession goods, and other administrative costs. This does not include registration fees for out-of-town tournaments, which may total up to $12,000. We project around $30,000 of income in player registration fees, so we will need to raise an additional $72,000 to cover our 2026 operating expenses. For much of this, we will depend on the support and generosity of our community. Going forward, Palace City Baseball will host part of the South Dakota State Youth Baseball Tournament for Mitchell, ages 9 to 12 and under, 2 out of every 3 years, with Watertown and Brandon Valley also sharing in that rotation. We will not host this tournament in 2026, although we look forward to doing so in 2027 and 2028. Of course, we are planning other fundraising opportunities, including corporate sponsorship and advertising, a raffle, a pop drive as done in past years, and still exploring yet other possibilities. It is our sincere hope and belief that we will appear before you next year after a successful 2026 season, not seeking funding just for regular season games to help kickstart our program, but for assistance in hosting a tournament, state youth tournament, teener tournament, bringing even more people to Mitchell and utilizing our terrific baseball facilities. We realize that our grant request may be a bit atypical from those you normally receive, and that it is to help fund season games rather than a singular event. However, we hope that you will recognize the uniqueness of our situation and how important our mission is for the future of baseball in Mitchell. As I'm sure you know, American Legion Baseball has been suspended since partway through the 2023 season following a horrific incident that has tarnished Mitchell's image both locally and nationally and severely impacted youth baseball operations. Through it all, kids who had nothing to do with this incident have borne much of the consequences. Because of the scandal, Mitchell has been entirely prevented from competing against other South Dakota Legion teams, lost players to other towns and clubs, or quit baseball altogether, and teams even younger than the Legion level have been kicked out of tournaments. Palace City Baseball represents a fresh start for our teenage baseball players in Mitchell and their families. We have agreed with Mitchell Baseball Association that MBA will continue to operate the high school spring baseball season and administer the state amateur tournament when held at Cadwell Park, while Palace City Baseball will govern the summer teener programs. This arrangement was a necessary step to restore Legion Baseball to Mitchell. We are grateful to Mitchell Baseball Association for this arrangement, sharing our passion for baseball and keeping in the best interest of the Mitchell youth. Palace City Baseball has submitted a detailed proposal for reinstatement to the South Dakota American Legion Athletic Commission, and we are currently in discussions with them on this prospect. Our recent correspondence has been encouraging. We are scheduled to meet with them very soon, and we believe that we are on the best possible path to restoring Legion Baseball in Mitchell. It's time to heal our baseball community and move forward together. It's difficult to overstate how much a contribution would mean to our organization and to the future of youth baseball in Mitchell. Thank you so much for your consideration. At this time, Adam and I would be happy to answer any questions you may have.
I guess I would ask what your thoughts are. I mean, first of all, I certainly hope that the Legion reinstates. Have you got any sort of a plan for that age group if for some reason they do not for the summer? Or
Yeah, and that's one of the big question marks we have. But we would seek out a season similar to what was done in the past, where we would play teams in out-of-state tournaments and put that together as best we can. We certainly hope that that's Plan B.
Yeah.
But yeah, we've had to discuss the contingency if we're not reinstated. Yeah. They will have a season.
Have you guys asked Mitchell Baseball Association for any startup funds?
That idea has been discussed.
And what was their answer?
We have received no assets or funding from Mitchell Baseball Association. They have their own interests, and I don't want to mischaracterize anything that goes into that decision. So
you guys are running some of the baseball, 13-year-olds, 14-year-olds, 16-year-olds, and then if there's Legion, so basically if you have a JV Legion, I guess you'd have 5 teams if the numbers are present. And Mitchell Baseball Association is going to be running high school baseball, which would be varsity Legion.
that's correct.
So my question is who's running the baseball tournaments in the summertime, the youth baseball tournaments? Who's getting the income for that?
The summer youth tournaments traditionally would be the Early Bird Tournament, and the Howard's Baseball Tournament will be governed by Mitchell Baseball Association.
So you're not receiving any funds for that?
That's correct.
Are you receiving any funds from the state amateur baseball tournament?
No.
So basically, you're doing this all on your own, the Mitchell Baseball Association, who these kids have done pop drives, they haven't had Legion Baseball for 3 years, have helped with these youth tournaments, have done things. And the Mitchell Baseball Organization is not helping out with funding or giving you startup money for your organization, is what I get from the answer to that.
That's correct.
Do you have an estimate on how many kids are gonna be in the 4 or 5 different youth groups?
Yeah, we've estimated around 65 players. We've already opened registration. We've received maybe half of that so far. We've started registration earlier than has been done in the past in the effort of getting schedules out a little earlier than it has been done in the past. Still going through that process, but we expect around 65 total players.
I think you estimated about 30,000 in registration,
That's right.
so $500-600 a kid, roughly.
Yeah, $400 is the registration fee for 13 and 14U, $500 for 16U, and $600 for 18U. That's where that comes from.
And as Jason was saying, so the summer tournaments, you guys are running, or is Mitchell Baseball running?
We would govern when we host the South Dakota State Youth Tournament, which is affiliated with Class A. We would run that in the future. Again, as I mentioned, that won't be held in 2026. The other youth tournaments that have traditionally been held in Mitchell will be run by Mitchell Baseball Association.
So the biggest tournament that normally happens out at Cadwell Park is the Class A State Youth Tournament, and you do have that, correct, as your fundraiser. Except it's not here this year. But in the future years, you will have that event, which is bigger than either of the other two youth tournaments.
That's correct. Yep.
You'll not have it in 2026, but you'll have it in 27 and 28.
That's what has been indicated to us. Yes. Going forward, that tournament will be held in 2 sites. So in 2026, it will be held half of those age groups in Watertown and the other half in Brandon Valley. And so it just follows such that Mitchell won't be included in that in 26, but we will in 27 and 28.
When did you start this work?
I believe it was late September.
So do you have nonprofit status? Do you have bylaws?
We filed that in October. While the government was shut down, we were still waiting for that application to be completed. We're hoping that by the end of the year, we will have that officially.
And you have bylaws?
Yes. They're posted on our website, www.palacitybaseball.com.
Pretty good chance Legion's gonna be in state.
It would be too early for me to speculate on that. Again, we have a meeting scheduled with them very soon, and we may know more after that time.
You should know by spring.
Yeah.
Do you guys anticipate any further discussion with Mitchell Baseball about the other tournaments and possibly sharing some revenues, or is that a done deal?
We have, again, we reached an agreement. We haven't had any other discussions or are planning any discussions at this time. I think that, 2026 will obviously be very new, and we'll want to explore that. Our agreement was based on the premise that, we aren't collaborating with each other directly, but we also, more importantly, aren't competing with each other. It's important that both of these organizations are successful.
Have you thought about starting another youth tournament? Have you looked at any weekends that you'd be able to do that? I mean, because you do have the capabilities of hosting your own youth tournaments. Right?
Yeah.
Have you pursued that opportunity?
We've looked at hosting potentially a teener tournament. We'd really like to do that since that's kind of the core of what our organization is serving. And it's possible that we may be able to do that in 2026. But given the timing of our formation, it might not be feasible. But that's definitely something that we would like to do in future years.
I would say, speaking from coaching youth, like it's the same thing with all these other teams. The teams are already signed up for registered for tournaments. So, trying to start a new one and get teams to come would probably be.
Many of these tournaments our registration opens October 1st. So it's difficult to kind of assemble that at this time. But I wouldn't rule it out just yet, but it's probably not feasible.
Another thing is you got to have umpires. So we rely a lot on our teenager age boys to umpire. So you got to not only have a weekend that works for the youth, but then you got to also have these 3 or 4 teams not be playing. So, if you guys have had kids or anything, good luck trying to find a weekend that you don't have something going on anyway. So
So you'll hire coaches just like previous years.
Yes.
Pay them as well.
Yes.
So, this is really confusing me, so you're not running any of the youth tournaments this summer, but Mitchell Baseball Association is gonna want our kids and our parents to help run those tournaments.
We haven't discussed that. I think with those
I was,
logistics need to
I
be
was the
worked out.
president of Mitchell Baseball Board at one time, and they will need you, so.
Well, what's the question? So what is the question, Jason?
I said, how are you guys gonna run Mitchell Baseball Association run tournaments this summer when this organization has all your umpires and all your parents that are gonna be working? And I'm hoping somehow you guys can come to some common ground where you guys can work together with that, because we hear things on the street too.
It's my hope that we can work together on that effort, Jason.
So I just think it's pretty sad that Mitchell Baseball Association wouldn't allow us some startup money from them. I just think that's really, really sad for our community. And I want to go on record saying that.
Did you ask Mitchell Baseball for funding, or did you say you didn't need their funding?
We discussed that. We asked. Again, there are many interests involved there, and again, we're, our organization is not interested in bringing controversy or any schisms to this community. We're about moving forward. Our mission is to restore baseball. We've suffered a great loss, and we want to move forward. So we're not interested in looking in the past and pointing fingers and placing blame. We feel a tremendous responsibility to the kids and to this organization or to this community to be successful, and so we're looking forward.
Any other questions? I guess I would commend you guys on what you're trying to do, because I think the most important thing is to get kids playing baseball again. I hope two organizations could sit down and work together in the future. You understand this is a little bit of a different request for this group,
Certainly.
because we fund events and putting people in motel rooms, and this is a little different.
It is.
It's
and
not that
unique.
we don't agree with what you're trying to do, but
Understood, Tim, and I would just add that it's not entirely unprecedented to have two different associations run different aspects of the baseball program.
Yeah.
I think the Sioux Empire Baseball Association in Sioux Falls is an example of that. They have different organizations that run spring versus summer baseball. So this isn't entirely unprecedented, and I think, I think it's important that both organizations are successful going forward. Adam and I both have sons that plan to participate in both of those programs, so we support them both, and I think there's chances for us to collaborate a little bit in the future.
well, good luck with your meeting with the Legion. Give them my very, very best regards, will you?
Thank you, Tim.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Nice presentation.
All right, we move on the agenda. You should have a copy of the minutes of the last meeting. Would entertain a motion for approval.
So moved.
Second.
Kevin, Dave, second. Kevin and Dave. Any other discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passed. Financial report.
Yep. Okay. Sports and Events Authority. These financials are year to date as of December 4th, 2025. We have the current expenses. So these are the awarded events, the checks that have been written and put in the mail so far, $139,900. We have one committed item that the award check will be cut and sent in the mail following next Monday's December 15th City Council meeting. That's the South Dakota Fire Instructors Conference, $4,800. So for the final meeting here in 2025, the current available fund balance is $49,940. We go down to the total collections by month chart. For the collections that were submitted in October for September records, we are still at $32,008 with one establishment past due. And recently, the collections submitted in November for the month of October was $33,708 with one establishment past due. The year-to-date comparisons through November. We have collections of $299,237, and that equates to room nights sold 149,619. Our monthly or yearly year-to-date room night comparisons, 2024, were up 1.2%, which is 1,853 room nights. 2023, we're up 3.8%, which is 5,753 room nights. 2022, we're down 0.7%, 1,083 room nights. 2021, up 2.5%. 2020, up 22.3%. And 2019, up 1.7%.
Any questions? Discussion?
One hotel that's past due, is it the same one prior?
Both the establishment that is past due is the same one for October and November.
If there's no further discussion, I'd entertain a motion.
So moved.
Jocko,
Second.
second Dave. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passed. Evaluation form.
Okay, two evaluation forms and financials that were submitted. First one, Arts in the Park, July 26th and 27th. The event met expectations. They were thankful for the support from the Sports and Events Authority. Total spectator attendance of 7,000. Total participants, 133 vendors. This included food trucks. There were participants and attendees from South Dakota, North Dakota, Iowa, Minnesota, Wyoming, and Nebraska. They estimated 60 room nights. Next year's event, Hitchcock Park, July 24th and 25th. SEA awarded $1,500, went to park closure and shelter fees. And I got a P&L submitted the day after I published this. So this was the Arts in the Park P&L, $378 profit, which will be rolled into next year's event. And the last evaluation form and financials, Cornucopia 2025, September 13th and 14th. The event met expectations. They had 52 teams, up in comparison to the previous year of 41. They estimated 1,250 spectators. Again, 52 teams, which is roughly 625 players. Teams from Rapid City, Pierre, Aberdeen, T, Brookings, Watertown, Yankton, Sioux Falls, Brandon Valley, and Mitchell. They estimated 350 room nights for the entirety of their tournament. Next year, Pepsi Soccer Complex, September 12th and 13th. SEA awarded $5,000. Helps offset tournament expenses, which their biggest expense is referee costs. And their profit of $18,403.86 just goes back into the tournament to help provide equipment and pay coaches for their programs.
Good for them.
And I'll just keep moving along here. For a sake of time, I will share just a brief Play Easy update here. Again, no events have been secured. We are actively having conversations, gathering information regarding the American Junior Golf Association Junior Championships and LR Productions, which is a gymnastics competition. These RFPs are for 2027, 2028, and 2029. I'm also continually working with the local businesses and having communication and sending out emails to gauge interest regarding their participation with the Play Easy community collaboration feature, where they have the opportunity to manage and update their local business microsite and provide general promotions and event-specific promotions to get more people in their local business during the Sports and Events Authority supported events. So if there is a local business or anybody interested in learning more, definitely give me a call, stop by my office. I'll be glad to share. Let's see, upcoming events. So we do have a handful of Sports and Events Authority events coming up here from now until our January meeting. This coming weekend, we have the Dakota Riptide Winter Invite, December 12th through the 14th at the Mitchell Recreation Center and Indoor Aquatic Center. The end of December here, we have the Hoop City Classic, the Youth Holiday Tournament. That's December 27th and 28th at Dakota Wesleyan University facilities. And we have the Hoop City Classic is Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, December 29th through the 31st. The world's only Corn Palace, as well as fitting in there on December 30th, DW women's basketball will be playing against Northwestern. To start the new year, January 2nd through the 4th, we have the Mitchell Pickleball Association presents the second annual DW Pickleball Indoor Tournament. That'll be held at the DW Avera Sports and Wellness Complex. January 3rd, here at the world's only Corn Palace, we have the Midwest Miracles Classic. And January 10th and 11th, we have the South Dakota Fire Instructors Conference held at the Highland Conference Center. Again, all the events can be found at the Mitchell Chamber events calendar, as well as those Facebook users. Go ahead, check out the Mitchell South Dakota events Facebook page, follow it, and be updated on events going on as well.
Okay, very good. You want to get into the new funding matrix at this point?
Yeah, I guess basically it's just we're looking for an action to approve the SEA funding matrix upgrade that I went over last meeting. Basically, I guess just kind of took conversations throughout our meetings in 2025, conversations with organizations, bid for board survey conversations as well, and just look to revamp the funding matrix for, I guess, two per said reasons. Give organizations and events more opportunities to be awarded the extra funding to potentially increase their marketing efforts, expand event resources, which would ultimately lead to increased participation and attendance at their events. And then it also gives the committee just an opportunity to look a little deeper into the evaluation, determine what the event is all bringing to town, to highlight the variety of ways that it delivers the economic impact, just not how many hotel room nights that event provides. So again, this agenda item request has been in the last two meeting agendas. I've had an example in there as well that pertains to it. Basically, it comes down to there would be 7 additional funding opportunity criterias. New event, are they selling hotel room or having room nights during Sunday night through a Thursday night? Then we look to see if it's a youth event, a combination of a youth adult event, a team event, and then what participants of attendees come from 100 plus miles of Mitchell. A little bit of research, again, like I shared last meeting, 120 miles was more consideration for families or people to consider staying overnight. Basically, this would be, I think if you add up the percentages, it would be a potential up to 155% increase. Again, this would just be a topic conversation starter, a base starting amount to consider. Ultimately, the committee has the information and the criteria to make the proper funding request. This would just add an opportunity to potentially award more funding for the event and also understand a little bit more about what the event brings to Mitchell.
You do it now, so each grant request, you'll have an amount that your matrix will
Basin should provide.
Yep, I will. I'll have everything broken down. I guess just for example, so this was on this agenda here. This was the South Dakota Middle School All-State Band. Basically, this paragraph on the funding matrix, if you don't want to go through the entire grant application, this would summarize and highlight some of the key points in grading material that the committee considers when we award funding. So right now, it's just currently based on what they estimate or what they've provided on evaluation forms for hotel room nights. The common denominator is $10 per room. That gets your base amount. And then you determine on when the event is hosted. If it's a high priority month, would be your Novembers through March, your April and May would be your medium priority, and then your June through October. Obviously, those months are when we have more people in our hotels within our city. So those would be our lower priority. And then this is the information that we start with the funding matrix so far. And then there would just be, if approved, there would just be additional information that would be on this funding matrix example.
So for clarification, we're still basing it on room nights, but that just gives us some added opportunities to add on if we see.
Yeah, obviously, again, the funding for Mitchell Sports and Events Authority is awarded from the Bid 4 board, which is the $2 hotel occupancy tax. But this just gives, again, an opportunity for the event to try to, work to improve, expand, get bigger, bring more visitors to our city. And then it also gives us, a few more highlights, a few key points that we can look at the event and potentially award more funding to their event resources to market. Bring more people to Mitchell.
If I'm wrong, but usually your matrix is a little light compared to what they're asking for.
It is usually the funding requests. More than likely, I could go back and look throughout 2025, but more than likely, I would say the grant request of the organization is higher than what the matrix provides. Because basically, solely right now, this just takes into consideration the amount of room nights it provides.
I think one of the conversations, at least that Aaron and I had with this, was it just was another place to maybe remind us of guidelines that if a group is coming in and has a first time event, they may not be able to show much in the matrix because it's unknown, that there would be other things to remind just this board and new board members who haven't had a chance to do this, that there are other pieces we can consider when making awards, even though all the Bid 4 revenue that comes in is how it's funded. It was just a way for us to maybe button up conversations and say, that makes more sense because we believe this is the right direction, or something that could bring more events, more time, and could grow. If we don't support it, who will? And could it move forward? That was at least my conversation with Aaron when we talked about just making that more plain for people.
Just a question. Do you think this is something that needs or should be run by the Bid 4 board if we're changing our matrix situation, or should we go ahead and approve it and then they take a look at it? They're meeting in January, right?
Yep. I gave consideration to, obviously, they had the survey. Their priority months that they agreed upon or voted on was November through March. Again, that is a higher percentage. Base funding amounts would receive an additional 60% if they have an event hosted November through March, 30% April through May, June and October, 10%. If it's a new event, we up that amount to additional 25%. Again, that was kind of the Bid 4 feedback or recommendation with the Play Easy platform, is to try to get that new event for Mitchell. And I guess to answer your question, I think we've voted on the first funding matrix when it started. I would think this would be within the committee's realm of action to approve.
I don't think it's totally necessary, but I just bring it up as an idea. Any other discussion on it? Otherwise, we'll call for a motion and a vote whether we want to accept the new matrix.
I just have one comment. This still preserves the board's discretion to vary from that matrix as they do now, correct?
Mhm.
Right. So it's really a guideline or a tool for you to use when you're comparing to grants requests.
Right.
Especially for new committee members, they may not.
Exactly.
Any other discussion? I would entertain a motion to approve. Kevin, is there a second?
Second. Dave and Dave.
Dave and Dave, choose. Mr. Helloy. All right, all in favor of approving the new matrix funding guidelines, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And those opposed, motion passed.
Thank you.
Time to move into executive session. Can we have a motion to do that?
So moved.
So moved by Dave,
Second.
second Jocko, Jim. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, thank you. Okay, we reconvened for approval of the funding applications. We'll start with the Palace Ice Festival. The request is $750.
I would make a motion to grant the $750 request.
Second.
Jim with the motion, second.
Second.
Dave? Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Next is the Hanson Boys and Girls Classic, January 17th and 24th of 26. The ask is $5,000.
I'll make a motion that we grant the 5,000.
Motion made by Larry, second.
I will second that.
Jason with a second. Any other discussion? All in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Next is the South Dakota Middle School All-State Jazz Band. The request is $1,500.
I would make a motion to approve the 1,500.
Dave with the motion.
I would second that.
Jim with a second. Further discussion? All in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Next is the Mitchell Show Choir Classic. The request is $3,500.
I'll make a motion for the 3,500.
Larry, a motion.
Second.
Second by Dave. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Okay. And next is the Palace City Baseball Association. I would make a motion to table the request of $15,000 until our next meeting in January, with the hope that possibly the two organizations could get together and find some resolution, and we could make a decision at that time.
And I would wholeheartedly second that.
Dave with a second. Any other discussion? All in favor signify by aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion's passed. Next meeting date is January the 13th, 2 o'clock here at City Hall. We are adjourned.
Ooh, man.
How's that?
Nice.
Always want to
Picking up the hard part.